Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am speaking with Ed of University Drive. The band has a killer new EP out. It's called First Stage Separation, and I'm super excited to talk to him all about it. Ed, I want to thank you so much for being here. How you doing? What's happening?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Just actually today I've just been writing and working on music all day. So it's been a nice
Nice.
day so far.
That's always the best day is a creative day where you can kind of just
Yeah.
mute out everything else and work on whatever's happening in your head.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, but I'm grateful that I have the day to do it. So it's all
Nice.
good.
Well, listen, this record's been out for a little bit, but it
Mhm.
hasn't aged in the slightest. It's not like it came out 10 years ago or something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, as I mentioned before we started this record is awesome. I think anyone who just likes good old like emotional rock with a twist is really going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Before we get into the whole grand scheme of it, I want to know what actually inspired the name First Stage Separation.
Oh, such a good question. So, well, I had the song, we had the songs, and we had the album basically ready. And my wife, she's really big into like the gateway tapes. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
No.
It's basically like remote viewing kind of stuff,
Okay.
you know, like, and these are like these tapes. I'm gonna get this totally wrong, so I'm gonna get it
It's
totally
cool,
wrong.
man.
It was really the name that jumped out at me. Anyway, she was doing these. She's big into meditation, and
Sweet.
she dove really deep into these gateway tapes, and I tried them out, and then she's like, "Oh, I'll send them to you," and she sent me the drive, and they're all labeled, so it's like, the first one is like wave one, whatever, communicating with something else, then wave two, and they all have these labels, and then one of them, I tried them, and they're really interesting and cool to do if you're kind of into that shit. Uh, but the one labeled, it just said first stage separation, and I guess the idea is that like you're separating from your body, your conscious, subconscious is
Sure,
separating from your
sure.
body. And while remote viewing and all is cool and very interesting, I thought that the title alone just kind of it just spoke to the themes and the lyrical imagery that we were kind of conjuring up in the songs. And it
Oh
just
yeah.
felt like the right title. It felt like the perfect title with as far as everything we're talking about on the record. So I threw it to the guys and I said, "Do you guys hate this?" And no one threw a rock at me. So it's the
Best way to
title.
introduce something. So do you hate
Yeah,
this or are we
yeah,
going to move forward?
that's how I bring everything to the band, essentially.
I love that. I mean, listen, like for anyone that doesn't know your music, and I think kind of just in general, your first introduction to a band is typically going to be the album or the name, the song name, and then the
Mhm.
album art as well. It kind of gives you a feel of like what you might be embarking on. And yeah, I mean, it's a great name and they didn't hate it. And I like it, so it works. I think we're chilling here. Now we got to talk about the sound here because obviously, like the record is rooted in rock, but I find that you guys do a really nice job of exploring so many different subgenres. So,
Mhm.
how does that work in terms of actually putting these songs together within a band? Does it come from everyone's different influences, or was it like, okay, I think we're gonna do this and see what happens?
Well, for previous things that we've done, previous albums, sometimes we go in with a specific concept or a specific idea.
Sure.
And then other times it just kind of develops as we're rehearsing or as I'm sending demos to the guys or they're sending me their demos or whatever. But with this stuff, we knew going in that like because we were going to Electrical Audio in Chicago, which
Yeah,
is like, such a famous studio,
totally.
that we wanted to really like just dig into a lot of our own personal musical roots, which a lot of it is based in, the school of like Steve Albini,
Yeah.
Shellac and Jesus Lizard, Nirvana, Pixies, stuff like that. So, yeah, when we were talking about it, it was just more or less like, let's all get on the same page and let's capture the most like visceral I mean, we're not, the whole thing's not aggressive, but the most visceral and aggressive version of our band in like reality. So
Sure.
once everybody got on board with that, we just kind of went in there and did it, and it just kind of came out the way it came out, you know?
No, that's kind of the way it happens sometimes. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that a lot of people like to be like fully prepared because studio time is not cheap. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's like you
Yeah, yeah.
get in there,
Sure.
but sometimes there's just a different energy flowing out. You get inspired in the
Mhm.
moment and you, I don't know, shape shift the sound into something new. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's what I really like about this record is like I find that there are individual singles that stand out as like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and listen to this one. But in the
Mhm.
grand scheme of the whole record, it flows so nicely. And I know
Oh,
that kind of nowadays, like we've lost the art of the album experience. You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Which sucks
Sure.
because who doesn't like to click play on an album and not have to like worry about what's next in the queue?
Right.
The other thing is this record balances energy so nicely. Like it's not front loaded in the sense
Mhm.
that it's like power rock for
Uh,
7 minutes and then you know
right.
what I mean, and then you're kind of not bored at the end, but you guys just kind of like ride that wave the entire way through. All that being said, how much thought goes into track listing when you're actually, like, okay, these songs are done, what do we do now?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think like because we knew going there that, we were going to do it. We did everything analog, did everything to tape. Like we knew
Awesome.
that, yeah, we knew that we weren't going to, like we had the option. We could go and we could have recorded digitally and we could have fixed things and all that stuff. But prior to going in there, we were like, we're going in there. We are just setting up live, documenting what we do and adding vocals. So the idea is like to get in there and be as prepared as possible all the way
Yeah.
through beginning to end. So, we had the track list before we even got in the studio as far as like how the
Sweet.
songs were going to go. We had demos that we did prior. We did an 11-day lockout at a local rehearsal studio in the area. And and our guitarist, he lives in Phoenix, Arizona. So
Okay.
he flew in and stayed with us for like,
Sure.
that first 11 days. Then we all drove out to Chicago and we're there for 5 days. So long story short, yeah, we were just really prepared, and I had a really specific idea of how I wanted it to go. I knew I didn't want it to be some sort of big concept thing because we've done those sorts of things in the past.
Yeah.
We just want it to be a collection that flowed really nice, like you were
Yeah.
saying. Um, but yeah, everybody seemed to be down with it, and to me, when I listened to it, it's this is gonna sound silly, but for as aggressive as it could be, it's still very easily it's an easy listen, it's not
I agree. It's super accessible, but
yeah.
at the same time, sorry not to interrupt you, but
Oh, you're good. You're
I
good.
find that anyone who's like, yeah, I like rock music, like, they will listen to this and enjoy it
Right.
because, as I mentioned, there's so much represented in the sound. Um,
Mm,
but it kind of doesn't go super towards something and stick with that. Like you're
right.
bending and shifting and doing this and that to the point where, yeah, you're actually making original rock music, which is so unbelievably difficult to
Oh,
do nowadays.
thanks for
Um,
saying that. That's awesome.
no, no,
Yeah.
it's true. I'm not just saying it to say it, but
Oh,
it's accessible for someone who's like, oh, I've never heard of this band before. Let's
mhm.
check this out because there's a little something for everyone there. I think that's what I was trying to get to at the same
Yeah, no,
time.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in terms of actually writing these songs, I know that everyone goes through a different process. Sometimes the lyrics come first, sometimes you come up with a random riff while you're jamming. Um, how did it work in terms of that?
So, you know, for I'm sorry if I always kind of go back a little, but it just
Dude,
helps me kind of put things in context.
you're
But
all good.
for years I was, when the band started, I was like, it was basically my project, and I would go in the studio and I would do everything, and then I would
Yeah.
find people, play the shows, and then slowly over the course of many years the right people got in place and we actually had a band. So I say all that to say that for like constructing songs, I'm still very much like I'm still very much, I tend to be the one who has a vision or an idea for how we should
Sure.
go. But everybody now for this record made like enormous contributions. So
Hell yeah.
normally, like for this record, I sat down, I demoed everything like on this crappy Dell laptop from like 2008 that I'm talking
Damn.
to you
I
right
was gonna
now.
say I don't know if Dell makes laptops anymore, but hey, it works. So
They made this one. They made this one.
and it's working. You look good, you sound good,
Uh,
so we're all set.
cool. But yeah, the
Damn.
so I demoed everything out, like the whole record and more on this. And then I would send it to the guys and we'd have a conversation and everybody would kind of throw their ideas. And when we got into the rehearsal studio, it was literally like like some of the songs completely morphed. Our drummer Tony, he made such drastic, amazing changes to like dumb program drums I have just to give an idea of the songs. But
Sure.
he made like, such great artistic choices that like truly changed the trajectory of a lot of these songs. And everybody had just great input, or I would have a guitar part that they would mutate and make completely their own. Specifically, the guitar parts between my guitarist Angelo and my guitarist Mark. They
Mhm.
have this cool thing that they do where they like, I'm sure, like if you listen to the record pretty closely, if you listen to the left speaker, it's Mark, which is the more like ethereal, atmospheric kind of sounding
Yeah.
guitar. And
Yeah.
then
No,
you have on
the
then you on
mixing
the
on
right.
this record is very good.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, the on the right side you'll hear like this more like punk kind of staccato-y guitar,
Sure.
Pixies kind of that's Angelo. And if I had done what I normally did, which was just go in, record a bunch of parts and say, okay, this is the record, that would have never happened. Like that characteristic and that identity that now lives on the record and within our band wouldn't have happened. So I'm really like that's how the songs were constructed, but I'm extremely proud of just it having its own sound and being it sounding like us.
Totally. I mean, listen, when it happens in the context of a group effort, that's
Hmm.
when you create something that's so magical. Because I'm not saying that, okay, so I guess in the sense of like, okay, you're a solo artist, everything
Sure.
hinges on you. I think you sort of turn into this perfectionist
Oh
that
yeah.
it's like, if you don't have someone to bounce your ideas off of, you literally go insane because you've listened to these songs hundreds of times over, changing and nitpicking. I think in your
Mhm.
situation, maybe it's better to have someone to be like, no, this idea sucks. We need to do
Oh,
this. Or,
yeah.
and then like it's just a less toll on your brain to the
Oh
point
yeah.
where it's like, okay, we can move forward now because majority rules or whatever, the dynamic
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
and just the idea too that like, sometimes artists in general just have they may never say it, but they have that thought in their head like, well, I'm right. Like I know how this should go, right? Like
yeah,
everybody thinks that, but
exactly.
I've been really blessed with the people who are in my band. I'm really, really lucky to have them. And like I can confidently say that I am most definitely not always right. Like they have great,
That's the
fantastic
first
ideas.
step, man, is admitting
Yeah,
it. Because the you
right.
know how many do you know how many artists I've interviewed in my life where it's
Mm.
like I'm sorry, not you, but the
No,
egos on some people
oh
to
yeah.
be
Yeah.
like, I am God. Like I
Right.
know everything.
Yeah,
Like
no.
you're wrong. And your
Yes.
music is good, but like,
Mhm.
damn, you need to just like take a step back here because yeah, it's
Yeah, well, you
ridiculous.
don't realize like what your what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. You don't know what you're keeping away from yourself by not allowing like a true collaboration.
Exactly.
You keep it at a
Exactly.
when you have such an ironclad grip on everything, like you destroy the possibilities for like true creativity and originality. And if you're in a band with people or in some sort of collective with people that really care and respect what you're trying to do, and there's a
Yeah.
mutual respect, then if there is something that you feel really passionately about, they're going to get behind you 100% because you get behind them 100%.
Yeah, I
So
could not
it's
agree
it's a
more.
mutual thing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, hypothetical question for you.
sure.
Someone is listening to this record for the first time.
Mhm.
Where or what is the perfect setting to listen to it in?
Mm, that's a good question. Uh, I think that it's like the best, I think it's the best little mini record EP for like a night drive, like a dark night drive in the car. You know, like if you've ever like you get in an argument with somebody or some shit's bothering you and you're like, I'm just going out for a drive and you turn your volume all the way up and just drive at
Yeah,
like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. I think that's like the perfect place for it. I even think
yeah,
sonically too, you know?
I agree. I see the music video forming in my head right now of someone getting in an argument,
Yeah, yeah,
running out to
yeah.
their car when the first song starts. Cool. Good
Uh-huh.
answer. Uh, since a record has come out, have you guys had the opportunity to play it live?
Yeah, so we did back in May, we were out on the road, March, April, May, we're on the road, and we kind of were dropping the singles little by little
Yeah.
until we dropped the record fully on May 2nd. And we were, every night we were adding, like once we put out the first single, Hollow Sweetness, okay, well, that's being played every night. Then the set halfway through, once we got, I don't know, a month in, then it was okay, now we're playing Decades Lost, and
Sweet.
then when we dropped the record, okay, now we have Spin Out, and then all through the tour until we got home, which we had like a album release party at our in our hometown at a venue called the V Spot,
Sweet.
where we played it in full, but we needed to play those songs on the road, like to try to play them because we knew we had to play the full record at
Yeah.
that show. So
Oh,
yeah,
that makes sense.
we played them a shit ton. A shit
Very
ton.
cool. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the best way to road test them and see what
Mhm.
works. And, one of my favorite things is like seeing a band with songs that I'm actually familiar with, but
Mhm.
kind of changing things up a little bit and trying
Yep.
new things, which I don't know, sometimes it forms a new jam which shows up on a
Oh,
future
yeah.
record and you never really know what's going to happen.
Oh,
So,
yeah, and just like the cool ways that little things start to change live. Like, oh, Ryan is doing this vocal inflection on some part that's not on the record now. Now that's specifically a live thing.
yeah,
Like it's cool.
absolutely.
It's cool to watch the things mutate.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
I want to know, normally I don't call out specific songs, but
Hmm.
I want to talk about Final Flash because
Uh-huh.
it's like the perfect song. It's
Oh, thank you.
honestly, it goes back to the track listing things of I think it's so important to have certain songs in a certain order because it gives off emotions or whatever it is, but the song is near 8 minutes and
Hmm.
it serves as like the literal cherry on top to a great record.
Hmm.
How does it happen? Not that the other songs aren't short or long, they're all around like 4 or 5 minute range.
Yeah, yeah.
What spurred an 8 minute thriller?
I mean, I'm a sucker for like the epic ender, epic
Sure.
record ender song. Like
Yeah.
that's in almost all our records or anything I've done. Usually the last song or second to last song is like some twisted journey kind of thing.
Sweet.
But Final Flash, like that wasn't supposed to be that way when I was writing it. When I was starting to write that song, it was like it was just going to be this little 3, 4 minute song, and I think I like extra looped a part, and I was
Sure.
like, oh, this would be cool if it went on long. And then we got together, and we're like, well, what if
Nice.
we fade this thing out, and then we did this crazy fade at the end, and I love that song. I really, I think it like it pushes all of us too, as far as like, how long can you do one specific thing over and over again
Yeah,
and only slightly change like dynamic things, like it's
totally.
it's a it's a cool musical challenge
Very cool.
playing.
Ah, good answer. My last thing for you here is for anyone that doesn't know who you are and they're gonna click play on the record for the first time, Is
Mhm.
there an opening message or something you'd like to say to them before they listen?
Yeah, I mean, if you're clicking on this and listening to anything we've done, I'm eternally grateful, and our band is eternally grateful. I mean, the you know, a lot of bands have messages, but like our big thing is like we just want to have real, authentic connections with people who feel connected to what we do. We
Sure.
don't, there's no, if something crazy happens and the band blows up, great. And if nothing crazy happens and the band doesn't blow up, great. Like we just
Sure.
want to we want people who hear what we do and feel it in their hearts and their souls, and we just want to make that connection with those people. So if
Dude.
you know if they're going through something, I think the music would be there for them. So
That's no, man, that's the right attitude to have 100%.
yeah.
Listen, Ed, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. This was awesome.
Oh,
But
thank you.
before we wrap up, please let me plug the music one more time. So,
Sure.
if you've made it this far in the chat and you didn't know, this is University Drive. The record is called First Stage Separation. As always, we'll have the links in our articles so you can listen and share and follow along. I mean, honestly, it sounds like there's more in the works. I hope there is.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, man, now is the time to pay attention. Dude, this was a great talk. Thank you so much for taking the time. Seriously.
Thank you. I'm stoked about it. So thank you
Hell
for doing that.
yeah. You're
Mhm.
welcome. All right, man. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to speak soon.
You too.
Sweet. Take care. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.